Hello everybody, welcome to the next video game novel review for this channel. If you're wondering, every so often I do these things, video game novel reviews. The premise of these is that I review a novel that is based on a video game universe, meaning that the video game universe generally came first, alright? And the last one I did was a Star Wars Galaxies novel. Well, the only Star Wars Galaxies novel. This one, obviously, we are doing Hellgate London. I'm reviewing the first of the Hellgate London Exodus trilogy. Oops, that one's last. This is how they go. You go this one, then this one, then this one. So yes, Hellgate London. Oh, let me get my notes so I know what to do. It is. Sorry about this. Yes, Hellgate London. So, the Hellgate London is an early 2000s kind of looter shooter. Like, this game was kind of a looter shooter before looter shooters were a thing. And, yeah. It was very interesting. It was very edgy. So the writer they hired, his name is Mel Odom, and Mel Odom. Of course, there's a train. I think there was a train last time I tried recording this. He's going to honk 3 times. He should. They're supposed to honk 3 times whenever they enter a city. 2, 3. All right. But yes, the writer, Mel Odom. That's a very good writer's name for a person who writes fantasy and science novels. He has written a lot of novels, I think since the 90s, and he still writes today, which is very good. As the last writer, the last author, she stopped writing novels. I forget her name. I think it was Veronica Whitney Houston. I think that's what her name was. Pretty sure that was her name. She wrote a bunch of stuff, and strangely, right? So Mel Odom has written for the Shadowrun series. He has written for the Forgotten Realms series, which is very interesting, as the last writer for the Star Wars novel has also written Forgotten Realms novels. So just some kind of overlap between writers here. Mel Odom has also written a Stalker novel, Sabrina the Teenage Witch novels. Just tons of novels. You can go look him up. He's written a lot. So, Hellgate London. Let's talk about Hellgate London itself. Like I said, Hellgate London is an early 2000s looter shooter, like kind of a looter shooter before looter shooters were a thing. It was basically a bunch of Diablo developers went and they left Blizzard and they formed their own company, Flagship Studios. And they made one game before going bankrupt, and that is Hellgate London. And Hellgate London was online, and like I said, an online looter shooter kind of game, but it wasn't just a shooter. It was depending on which class you played, depended on what camera you used. The melee classes were third person, and the shooter classes were first person, at least from what I can remember. I mean, we're going to go into the game, but it's not the same game, so I'm going to talk about that. So, the premise of Hellgate London, it's very simple. Demons invade London. That's basically it. I don't think there's a very complicated reason behind it. I think it just sounds cool for them to invade London, and they picked London because, I don't know, because it's a U.S. studio. Flagship Studios is a U.S. studio, so a guy in a Cessna flying over now, spying on me. So, the one thing about Hellgate London is that the cinematics are amazing. They are on par with Blizzard stuff. You know, I would show you them, however, I can't, because you won't get this. Just the cinematics are copyrighted by EA somehow. So, I don't know how they are, because EA doesn't own this series. after Flagship Studios went bankrupt and the servers were shut down for Hellgate London, a Korean company, I think they were Korean, either Korean or Taiwanese, called Hanbitsoft, bought the game and the rights to the IP. They then created like the Hellgate London you can buy on Steam now is not it's like the same Hellgate London you used to be able to play, but it's not the same. It's like a weird offline version of it. So that's, whenever we go into the gameplay portion of this video, that's going to be what you see. Let's move that closer. So, like most early 2000s things, Hellgate London is very edgy. It's very edgy, it's very dark, you know. The culture of the 2000s was very dark. You had you had goth, emo, alt, vamp, scene, punk, a lot of metalheads. Yeah, things were very dark back then. Oh, you had like the weird like Christian goth that was like, you know, the 3 Days Grace kind of stuff. I don't know. I loved the early 2000s. You got such cool art, and now the wind's picking up. You got such cool art. You got very good video games. You had very good movies. I don't know if you remember things like Equilibrium, you know. And of course, someone's racing over there. What else do we have here? Yeah, it's the first of 3 trilogies, and they went really hard on like expanding the universe, because if you, I don't know if you read that, right, includes an excerpt from Tokyo Pop's Hellgate London manga. Like, yeah, I didn't even know this, but Hellgate London here had a manga. There's a little bit of it in there. Yeah, so, and the advertisements, like, the advertisements were everywhere, especially in Game Informer. So I managed to find a couple Game Informers of mine that have Hellgate London in it. This one has a particularly edgy, where is it? It's around here somewhere. There it is. Hell! Just over the London subway. With blood in the corner. Like, hell, or literally just London. It's literally just the London subway with fake names on it. I think that's the London subway. Yeah, but look, you got look at all the names that they replaced. You got blood loss, enfeeblement, gashes, innards, gangrene, severed limbs. Like, look at all the names on this advertisement for Hellgate London. If it focuses. Hermitage, decapitation, cramping, mutilation, carnage. Let's see. I will die to what does that say? Is it, if I have to die, I will die fighting? It says it up here. Like, look at this advertisement. Sky has gone black, and the streets are alive with screams of abject horror and infernal devastation. Oh, man, I miss the 2000s, and just, like, how, like, overwhelming anxiety. Next to Blight, and Fangs, and zombie summoners, and just, I love it. I loved, like, whatever this culture was. Just the edginess and just despair. I don't know what to call it. But yeah. And then I have another Game Informer, but it just kind of, basically just has a small review of it, of Hellgate London, and the writer in the other Game Informer there, just, he gives it an 8.5 out of 10, so the game was pretty good for the time. And, have anything else to say before we go into the actual book review, reviewing each chapter by chapter? Not really, not particularly. So, this is going to be my channel's 12th anniversary video. I didn't do one for 10th anniversary because there was the whole, you know, cough going on. Don't want to get demonetized. But yeah, there was that going on. I didn't feel like doing a 10th anniversary video, so this is going to be the 12th, and I didn't do an 11th because I think I forgot. I think I was going to do one, but then I just forgot. You'd have to look on what I released on June 11th of last year to see. But yeah, this is going to be my channel's 12th anniversary. 12 years. And I've accomplished basically nothing on YouTube. What? Less than 3,000 subscribers. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I've gotten over 1 million views, so there's that. I know some people get 1 million views on each video these days. I get like hundreds of millions of views on a video. But yeah, I slow and steady. I see my subscriber count going up slowly. I get like 2 a week. So, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more book reviews. I do read. I read probably 2 to 3 novels a year. And with this, and I'm going to try to read this entire series, because I'm only reviewing this first one today. So I'm going to try and review all 3 of these. Because this is 150 chapters each. You're probably thinking 50, 50, 50. No, they did it weird. It's 50, 49, 51. Or, yeah, 50, 49, 41. If I remember correctly. Then you have the prologues and, like, what's the thing that comes after? It begins with an E, I think. Yeah. Oh, I'm also, instead of recording this with a camera, like I did last time, for the Star Wars novel, and the bootleg Fallout novel, I also use an actual camera for that, too. I'm recording this with a phone. It's a Motorola phone, and it's supposed to have full HD, so I'm going to see how this looks. Alright, let's get into the gameplay and each chapter review. So, if you don't know the premise of that, I just use gameplay as background footage while I review each and every chapter. I have it all written down here. Oh, this book took me 2 months to read? 3 months to read? Like, I don't read very fast. I read, like, maybe 2 chapters at a time. Because I am also writing my own novel. I want to write my own novel and then have video games based on that novel. And then, yeah. So hopefully, I'm on chapter like 23 of my own novel. So hopefully I can get that finished. And I can review my own novel one day. Hopefully. Alright, channel's 12th anniversary video. Let's go. Alright. Hey everybody. Now for the, gameplay portion. You see the gameplay. It's all pre-recorded, but not recorded at the same time as I'm talking. We're going to review this book chapter by chapter. So, something I forgot to mention in the intro there is that I said, like, the Exodus trilogy. It's not technically the Exodus trilogy. The first book is Exodus. The first book is Exodus, the second book is Covenant, the last book is Goetia. Yes, so, let's get into it. Oh, we're only reviewing the first book today, because it's 50 chapters, and it's pretty long, especially for what I read. So, the book begins with this kind of, like, weird recap of events that don't happen in the book. I think, it's really weird. It has, like, this, not like an epilogue, but, like, it's like just a random excerpt of, like, another book, which I don't understand why. But it says, where this character Simon and his men, they've been ambushed. He shoots them with his, spike bolter. The spikes pin the demons against the walls. And then it just kind of ends. It was like a short excerpt of maybe, like, later on in the book. I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was just a very weird thing to include in the beginning. Like, it feels almost like, I don't know if you watch any other YouTubers on YouTube here, yeah, that they put, like, something that happens, like, near the end of the video at the front of their video to try and get you to watch, to the end instead of just skipping through it. You know what I mean? That was, like, real popular, like, 2018, 2019. I don't know if people still do it. I'm pretty sure they do. So, the book is actually dedicated to, at the time, the author's kids, who he was playing the game with, actually, because he actually played this game. So I'm thinking now the kids would be in their 20s or 30s. So, kind of interesting. I wonder if they even care about this book. Then he thanks all the devs that helped him. There's a historian's note page that tells us that this book is a prequel to the game by about 18 years, which is a pretty long time to be a prequel to a video game. 18 years in between then. I mean, maybe the other books kind of catch up on those 18 years. I haven't read them. And now we've finally gotten to the prologue. It opens describing a demon, a blood angel, not from Warhammer. This is a winged demon with a cat-like head, lizard-like features, and is very feminine in its design. I'll probably have a picture of it on the screen right now. It was attacking a Templar, or Crusader guy known as Thomas Cross. He was standing at St. Paul's Cathedral, and he's hiding from the demon. Or trying to hide from the demon. He managed to hide from it. He has a high-tech suit. It's like a medieval, it's like basically a medieval plate armor, but it's high-tech, which is kind of interesting because these guys are Templars, right? And Templars didn't have plate armor. They were mainly chainmail. Plate came later. At least from my knowledge, I might be wrong. I know they had the Great Hounds, but it was mainly chainmail, but Templars here have plate armor, and they're very advanced. So the suit kind of like locks onto stuff. It's very high. It's basically like it's essentially an Iron Man suit. It does all types of things with voice commands, except it doesn't fly, which is kind of disappointing. So the Templars were kind of defending the cathedral from the demons. And there's like tons of demons attacking them, and they were ordered by High Lord Patrick Summerisle. He told them all to try and protect the cathedral, knowing that they would fail. It doesn't mention why he wanted them to fail, but he knew that they would fail. So it mentions how the Templars were trained to fight demons, however they weren't actually trained to see each other die. So it's him seeing other Templars die kind of messed with him. And he died fearing... He feared dying himself a lot. So when the Hellgates first open, Thomas, that's what... Let's try to read what I wrote. I guess I wrote... this is particularly late at night when I first wrote this. It was when the Hellgates first opened, the demons first took out as many jets as they could. And, it basically just watching them take out the jets and the military basically were useless. And Thomas is a seraphim of House Rourke. The armor was forged in Eldrick Forges beneath London, built by the Freemasons. Illuminati confirmed. Yes, the Templars fight the demons, but they use Eldritch magic. A lot of this is not explained in the book very good. I'm going to say that. It might be explained in the game, but you would think, like, okay, the books in the game, I mentioned how you can't really play the game anymore. However, somebody just picking up these books because they thought they were cool is going to be very confused, in my opinion. So the armor was made out of nanodyne technology, and as well as this metal called palladium, which is like stupidly strong, which it's like better than every other metal out there. Yeah, it's palladium and magic holy energy. Even though it doesn't mention holy energy later, the author calls it arcane magic. It's kind of like this weird switch partway through the book. So they're battling demon, and when you cut a demon with the palladium sword, the demon's blood is like acid, and it like burns Thomas. And then Thomas, so this demon he was fighting ran away or flew away, and then Thomas chased after it. So another Templar helped Thomas out because the demon came back and attacked Thomas, trying to finish him off. And there was a Templar in purple armor, which they never bring up the purple armor again in this book, at least as far as I know. This Templar's name was Guy Wickersham, I think. He was very old, like in his late 60s or 70s. which is pretty old to be battling demons, but I guess he does have a high-tech suit, so that's kind of helping it up. And he used a weapon known as a spike bolter. Guy was the one who trained Thomas. Guy was badly damaged. He was bleeding, and, well, he was dying. Guy told Thomas that another type of demon known as a carnivore basically near killed him, and that's why he's dying. Because carnivores are like demonic elephants with tusks and rows of teeth, and they also have hands. I'll probably have a picture of that on the screen as well. They also tunnel underground and like come up and like attack people. And the carnivore, while he was watching a guy here die, came up and attacked Thomas. Thomas didn't know where demons came from. I mean, it mentions the Ophanium, but it doesn't explain what the Ophanium is. It gives a brief line and says intelligence agents and something like that. Like, whatever the Ophanium is. It's weird. This book doesn't explain... It mentions a lot of things, but doesn't explain what anything is, which is very annoying to me. So Simon starts shooting the carnivore, and that makes it angry, and it attacks more, and so Simon jumps onto it and starts attacking it that way. I mean, it's several pages of him fighting this same carnivore. And after defeating the carnivore, he looks around to see all the destroyed military equipment. It randomly goes into this like weird like poetry story called Dear Simon, which I didn't feel was that important, and so I'm not going to go over it. Simon then ran to get help from... he ran to help a female knight who was fighting a different demon, known as a stalker. It's like a wolf demon, essentially. The female Templar's armor is very confusing, as it's both... it's a very, like, 2000s, like, overly sexualized, which I really like, you know. Because it's magical armor. Who cares what it looks like? He was too late to help her. The stalker got her. He killed all the stalkers to get to there, and she was bleeding very bad. Oh, she died. Let's just say that. She died. The knight was of another house, House Stratham. Yeah. She was part of House Stratham. He was part of House Rourke. The demons were winning, just as the Grand Master said they would. There were also Kabbalists fighting the demons as well. Lots of describing what a Kabbalist is. Essentially, it's a person that uses demonic magic. Or, kind of like a demon hunter from Warcraft. Excuse me, I need a drink. You know, demon hunters from Warcraft or Diablo. Diablo's, I mean, it would make sense. These are former Diablo devs. So yeah. The Kabbalist's name was Kiera Stryker. In real life, a Kabbalist is a Jewish devotee to the Kabbalah. So in Hellgate, Jews practice dark magic, I guess, is what they're trying to say. A 15-foot-tall demon called a Sholgoth attacks Thomas. Mel here gives it an oddly sexual description. I'm going to read it. The demon towered 15 foot tall and made even more huge and fearsome by the clustered spikes atop his reptilian head. Corded muscles stood out along his sinewy neck. Pointed fangs filled his huge gaping maw. The broad expanse of his thick shoulders made his head look small by comparison. Broad-chested, clad in chitinous growths as tough as plate mail, the demon stood on legs as thick as tree trunks. The scales picked up the light, dancing atop the cathedral. But the most fearsome thing about the demon was his left arm. It was impossibly huge, dwarfing the entirety of his body. His right arm was thin and spindly, as if with one good tug it would yank free. Yeah, it's still basically a Charger from Left 4 Dead, except bigger. The Shoggoth is 100% bulletproof. Even so, it mentions how Shoggoth was fighting, like, when he first came here, he was fighting, like, the military. Like, and he was fighting Challenger 2 main battle tanks, and the sabos would just bounce off. In fact, this is something that's very annoying. Demons are bulletproof, 100% bulletproof. Which is very annoying because it doesn't explain why demons are bulletproof. If it just says magic, it doesn't just say, oh, it's just magic, it just doesn't work. I mean, you could say, oh, it's because their skin is like Kevlar, and so, or sort of like Kevlar, where because of the lead rounds, the lead is too soft to penetrate, you could say that. However, but they use a weapon called a spike bolter, which is, I looked it up in the game, and it's just a flechette gun. And if you don't know what a flechette is essentially it's like a tiny dart that's fired out of a gun. So it's like, why does a flechette work but a bullet doesn't? And Challenger 2's Sabo rounds are technically just giant flechettes. I don't know. Anybody watching this, and you're making a fantasy series, please do not add bulletproof. They do not make your enemies 100% bulletproof. They could be hard to kill by bullets, right? Like, you could say, oh, well, 9mm doesn't affect my demons, but like a 308 or 30-06 should still be able to do some damage to them. Here in Hellgate, bullets are useless, but flechettes work. Doesn't explain that. And that was all the prologue. Oh yeah, the Shoggoth kills Thomas. It breathes like fire breath on him. So, Thomas is dead. We get into chapter 1. Chapter 1 is about Simon, Thomas Cross's son. He is a nature guide in South Africa. He was joined by Sandra McIntyre, a 5'10" woman. Simon here is 6'5". He is from England. She is Australian. They were guiding a sort of like research team or photography team through the outback. While they were doing this, they heard gunshots. One of the film crew members said if it was illegal to hunt in the area, it was actually illegal to hunt. So Simon Cross went to investigate, gripping his guide gun with him, or taking his guide gun with him. Simon is a former Templar. He hated being a Templar, so he fled to South Africa because he did not want to be a Templar. This is happening. This is like a prequel to the prequel, where Simon here is in South Africa. He eventually found who was shooting, and it was elephant poachers. They killed 5 elephants. Simon took pictures of them as they took ivory from the elephant corpses. This made Simon very angry. A Cape buffalo happened to wander by the poachers. The youngest of the poachers shot it in the head. However, this did not kill the buffalo, and it charged at them. They shot it 2 more times, yet it didn't stop. The attacking buffalo hit the poacher's Land Rover, and tipped it on its side. It then ran away. The older poacher backhanded the younger poacher for shooting the buffalo in the head. They then flipped their vehicle over and then left. Simon went to track down the buffalo. He wanted to kill it so that it wasn't running around all bleeding everywhere, and so that its wound wouldn't turn gangrenous. That's the end of chapter 1. So, chapter 2. You found the buffalo drinking. his eyes were following it. Then he started to reminisce about his past, extreme sports and becoming a skateboard champion. And it mentions how he used advanced Templar technology to basically cheat his way to the top of these. Before leaving London, he did a base jump off of the London Tower. He got his punching dagger. If you don't know a punching dagger, it's a very weirdly shaped dagger that, well, you punch with. His is modeled after an Indian guitar. The buffalo charged him. He then jumped over the buffalo and onto its back, and shoved its dagger into the heart of the buffalo. However, this didn't kill him. He shook him off, and his radio fell off with him and got crushed by the buffalo. He got onto the buffalo again, and stabbed him again and again and again until it died. Simon passed out. When he awoke, a hyena was trying to kill him, so he killed the hyena as well. He gathered himself and his gear and started to walk back to camp. He saw the poacher's vehicle's tracks headed toward his and Sandra's campsite. He found them after hours of walking. The poachers killed 2 of the research tourist photographers, and several pages about Simon sneaking around the poachers and listening to them, how there was a big alien, quote-unquote alien invasion going on in London, because that's what they thought the demons were at first. They thought they were aliens. They didn't start talking about Alien versus Predator a lot. So Simon stabbed one of the poachers through the tent, and then tossed him onto the fire. And that's the end of Chapter 2. So Chapter 3. A poacher shoots at Simon and misses. The other poachers were all killed by Simon except one. It's like 4 pages of him killing these poachers, like stabbing them and stuff. Simon took the bodies back to Cape with him, along with the one. Oh, man, I messed that sentence up. Simon took the bodies of the poachers back to him, along with the ivory. And he took the bodies back so that the animals don't develop a taste for human flesh. Which, to me, doesn't make any sense, because there's plenty of people who die out there. I don't know, and the hyena was already trying to kill him, so he already would have taste for human flesh. Let's see, what else? Simon couldn't make friends growing up because he lived underground. He also nearly killed 2 other kids. So Simon woke the poacher that he captured and asked him about the alien invasion. He said the British military was almost all dead. Like I said, bullets and regular guns are useless against the demons. It also mentions long ago the Templars were ostracized by King Philip because they had a demon skeleton. And then that's the end of Chapter 3. So, Chapter 4. At the Bishop Tower in London, new character, Detective Chief Superintendent Alfred Hyde. Talking about the attack and the knights, as they call them. The demons hate uniforms, it turns out. If you're a person in a uniform, the demons hate you. Another new character, Dr. Smithers. There's this weird comparison comparing demons to Nazis and like Nazi occupation. And then they got into a very battered military vehicle. They had to get to the library. They raced through the city, machine guns firing at the demons, and like I said, the bullets are useless versus demons. And they made it to the library and only lost a child to the demons. Yeah, like during this sequence, there was like a demon like carrying a child away, and like they shot at it, and I'm pretty sure it mentions that they hit the child instead of the demon. So they get to the library, and there's Dr. Alfred Smithers there. He's a very, very old man, like in his 80s. And then there was another man in the suit with sunglasses on, like a government guy. He wouldn't give his name or why he was there. except that he had connections to the Prime Minister. They were looking over the body of Thomas Cross. Somehow they got the body of Thomas Cross, despite Thomas dying with all those other Templars, and they only took Thomas's. Strange. See, they took the body because, one of the reasons is because the police chief actually knew who Thomas Cross was. Whether he ordered them to go get his body or not, I don't know. But they said the body looked like it was boiled. I'm guessing from the demon blood. They also wanted to know where Simon's son went. They also wanted to know where Simon, his son, went. The government man was treating Cross like a criminal because none of the Templars were registered as British citizens. So he wanted to know why he knew one of them. And that's the end of Chapter 4. Chapter 5, we're back in Africa, back with Simon, now in Cape Town, pulled over by the police, talking about poachers and the aliens. Talking about why they invaded England. No one really knew why they invaded England. And he watched some footage of the military battling the demons, and so Simon decided he needs to get back to England, because even though he's an ex-Templar, he knows how to fight the demons. So Simon and Sandra got a hotel room, and it's talking about Simon's dad, how he's a Templar, and about him being dead. He doesn't mention the Templars to Sandra. And that's the end of Chapter 5. So Chapter 6, back in London, new character, Warren Swimmer. And I have to say, this is something that I find very annoying in this book. I'm going to tell you right now, this book is going to keep switching between Simon and Warren. Like, some chapters are going to be about Simon, some chapters are going to be about Warren here. And I found that to be very annoying because it felt like I was reading two different books at the same time. So, Warren here is in a destroyed supermarket hiding from the demons. He's searching for food. Both hiding and searching for food. Warren is a poor person, poor boy. He's with a girl who is also looking for food. They're arguing about being quiet, because she's not being quiet and he wants her to be quiet because they don't want the demons to find them. There was more looters in this supermarket, and then a police officer comes in, and tells everyone to leave. A demon then flies through the window and completely destroys the police officer by ripping his head off. He drops his assault rifle. You think that Warren would try to go get the assault rifle, but no, he runs away as the demon goes and kills multiple people. And that's the end of Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Warren is now being chased by a demon. Pages and pages of him running away from the demon. And then he meets a very strange woman with horns. Her name is Edith Buckner. And she is also covered in tattoos and like weird sigils. And it turns out Warren can control demons. Yep. Because reasons. He just can. He can control demons. So Warren was being a baby about stuff, and he just wanted help, and it's pages and pages about him complaining to this Edith person. And then he went home and started arguing with the girl who was with him earlier, Kelly. And that's the end of Chapter 7. So, Chapter 8. Back to Simon in South Africa, searching for a way to London. He got a flight to France by a guy named Horner. Horner had a Grateful Dead t-shirt on, and it was also from Australia. He had an Australian hat on. He sold all of his guide gear and all of his weapons for the flight. Horner's plane is a very old cargo plane, military cargo plane. Sandra is not coming, and that's the end of her, basically.
Flying to France, another character, Philip Torrance, a man in a suit. That's all it says. So 3 days to France. 3 days to fly to France. And now a woman approached him. A woman with violet eyes. Watched him and even talked to him a bit. Her name is Leia Creasy. Creasy? That was her name. She was going to London as well. She also ran away to South Africa. Very similar to Simon here. And that's the end of Chapter 8. Chapter 9, still with Simon, now in Paris. Smuggled into a truck. And then into a cantina where he finds a captain. Captain Bolivar Patel. He got him to take him to England across the channel, somehow. End of Chapter 8. Oh no, end of Chapter 9. Time for Chapter 10. We are now back to Warren. This is going to get very annoying. I really despise this going back and forth between Simon and Warren. So, Warren's mother was a practicer of magic. Doesn't explain why, or how she could do magic. But she kind of like spent all their money on that stuff, and it was a lot about that. And while Warren was out there, a big Scottish man approached him. He was a bouncer. So Warren went to Edith's house, and that's where this Scottish guy was. He was outside Edith's house. 8th floor of the building, pitch black. Warren can't see anything. Lots of whispering from a lot of different people. He practiced some weird magic with Edith, because she's like, a woman with horns, obviously she's going to know magic. And now Warren can see in the dark. Never brought up again, I can tell you that. Warren somehow kills a person without even touching him. Also never brought up again. End of Chapter 10. They're all amazed by like how Warren was able to kill a person by not even touching them, but he never brings that up again for some reason. It's never brought up again. Chapter 11. The guy is truly dead, and they're all shocked, like I said. Flashing back, Warren's father killed his mother for messing with magic and spending all their money on magic stuff. Then this is his stepfather, not his actual father. Warren's stepfather then shot Warren. Where he got a gun, I don't know, this is England. Should have stabbed him, in my opinion. And then Warren was somehow able to use magic, making his stepfather commit suicide. Warren survived being shot. I think he shot him twice, as a kid. But yet, I don't know, it doesn't really explain that. And then, so during this, Edith brought the guy that Warren killed in that room back to life. Pages and pages about talking about Warren and how in the past he killed his stepfather with telekinesis. The demon invasion made people who had magic even stronger. Turns out this group of Kabbalists, don't want to actually kill the demons, they want to control them. Basically, they want to be the lords of the demons. End of Chapter 10, Chapter 11. Oh no, end of Chapter 11, Chapter 12. Sorry. Back to Simon. On a boat in the English Channel. They have a bunch of guns on board. 20mm cannons and even elephant rifles. But the demons are immune, even the 20mm. If they're immune to tank shots, apparently. Simon had a Barrett. He was angry. He didn't want a Barrett. He wanted his Templar gun. And then Leia came with him. She had an MP5. I don't know what an MP5 is going to do. If a Barrett and an elephant gun are both worthless, why'd you grab the MP5? What's 9mm going to do? So, while they were crossing the channel, they were fighting demons, and then they were hit by friendly fire from a military vessel. A 40mm cannon hit them. So they swam to land. End of Chapter 12. Yeah, it was literally just them battling across the English Channel to get to England. Chapter 13. Well, Simon mentions that when he shot a demon, he aimed for the eye of the demon. And while the Barrett was able to penetrate the eye of the demon, however, it basically just angered it and didn't kill it. So they do have weak spots. But even a 50 cal to the eye doesn't do much. Now they're in a forest, running from the demons. A demon then broke his Barrett. How dare he? That's like 10 grand. Then a Templar saved him, a female Templar, Gazelle Fletcher. She gave him a grenade launcher that shot Greek fire. This grenade launcher completely blows demons apart. I don't know why this Greek... It doesn't explain what Greek fire is. I mean, if you know about Greek fire, it was a ancient flaming explosive that was basically like napalm. But why does the explosion here explode demons apart, but like regular military stuff doesn't? I don't know. Just magic. I don't like that explanation of, oh, it's magic. Lots of demon battling. Pages and pages of killing demons. A Templar died, and so Simon took his weapons off of him, like his sword, and more killing. End of chapter 13. There was just a lot of demon battling, and meeting Gazelle there. Chapter 14. They went back to the coast for some reason. I guess to see if the boat made it away. They walked the coast looking for survivors. Giselle reveals Simon's father's dead. Most of the Templars are dead. The demons would bring dead Templars back to life. Never brought up again. Then she talks about how they all died at the cathedral. And yeah. And that's the end of chapter 14. Chapter 15. Back to Warren. They finally revealed that the group is called that they are Kabbalists, and the Crusades were actually about demons or something. Then there's weird comparisons of a demon to kittens, because it's like, oh, the demons aren't evil because a cat kills, or some weird comparison like that. Then the Kabbalists don't like the Templars, but they will aid the Templars if the Kabbalists can gain from it. Oh, and then H.P. Lovecraft, Robert E. Howard, Clark Aston Smith, and Crowley here were all demon chasers. Lots of pages about demons. Pages and pages about it. So the Harbingers arrive before the main invasion. Never brought up again. They use blood sacrifices to open portals. However, the Harbingers, like I said, are never brought up again. And now the Kabbalists here were going to open up a tear. That's the end of chapter 15. On to chapter 16. Still with Warren here. The Kabbalists have what they call seekers that go out and find ancient artifacts and study ancient artifacts. Like the eye of Katakuluki, some crazy fantasy word like that, who they said Saladin himself took from a demon, wrestled it from a demon. They had this ceremony where they were going to talk to a demon, and then the demon asks, "Who is your name? What's your name? How dare you, talk to me?" And he's like, "I'm John Wayne," one of the Kabbalists said, which was kind of funny. The demon's name is Merahim, bringer of pestilence. The demon pulled Jonas, who was one of the Kabbalists, into the demon plane, and kind of twisted him all up and nearly killed him. Basically killed him. Left him suffering. And then all the Kabbalists tried to run away because they didn't think that they were going to speak to a super powerful demon. They wanted a weak one. However, Jonas wasn't dead and he was screaming, so the demon came into, or sort of came into their world, put his hand through and exploded Jonas because it wasn't fully dead. The demon then pinned Edith to a wall with his trident. And then caused her to go up in flames, burned her alive. Warren jumped through a window to try and escape, as the demon slaughtered everyone else in the room. However... Oh, that's the end of chapter 16. Chapter 17. We're still with Warren again. It's a pretty long phase on Warren here. The demon levitated Warren back into the room. Warren called the demon evil. The demon said, "I'm not evil, I'm powerful." Warren used magic to somehow push the demon back through the portal and then jumped out the window again. And he got knocked out and someone stole Warren's shoes. He got up and he was covered in burns and broken bones and just really should be dead. And Warren tried to get help, but no one wanted to. So somehow he got all the way back to his apartment, despite being, like, basically dead. Now, Kelly, his roommate, saw him and started to scream. It turns out Merihim, the demon, had marked him and was speaking to him through his, like, mind, telekinesis kind of stuff. That's the end of Chapter 17. Chapter 18. Back to Simon on the coast. Talking. Told the Templars... He was telling Leanne about the Templars and their magic and their armor and how all their stuff worked, and that the aliens were actually demons. Lots of talking about that. Actually, until the next morning. It was snowing now. Simon has a sword he took from the dead Templar. Lots of talking about minor things and, like, just life and, like, now they're going to go into London itself. End of Chapter 18. Honestly, 18 was, like, incredibly boring. Chapter 19. Traveled to London in a Land Rover. Driving through the city, seeing all the death and destruction. Stopped driving vehicles because the vehicles attract demons. Lots of describing the city. It's like, you know, rubble and, like, ruins and stuff like that. Lots of describing that. They went to a special building. Then they went underground. Turns out, underneath this building was a special base. Special secret base. End of Chapter 19. Chapter 20. Back to Warren. Warren laying in a room with a man with a bat watched over him named George. George thinks Warren is possessed. George thinks that Warren has possessed Kelly because she's not acting like herself. So George attacked Warren with a wiffle ball bat. I think a wiffle ball or croquet bat. Whatever you use in England, it's a bat. It's a piece of wood. So Warren killed George. And then a screaming woman ran to George. Warren was, like, healing extremely fast. But his new skin that was healing was, like, super pale. After a bath, Warren and Kelly went back to the building the Kabbalists were all slaughtered at. Why? I don't know. When they went there, they were approached by a bunch of hooded Kabbalists. Like, these ones were more powerful Kabbalists. The other ones were just amateurs. These ones were, you know, good, like, strong ones. A man named Malcolm was their leader. I don't think he's brought up after this chapter. So, Malcolm reveals that Warren will die if he doesn't muse the demon, because the demon has marked him. So, they're going to do another ritual. End of Chapter 20. Chapter 21, back to Simon. The Templars address Simon like an ordinary person, not a fellow Templar, because he essentially quit being a Templar. He left, which you're not supposed to do. They're walking through this big, super secret underground base, which I never understand how secret underground bases work when you're in a city, because when construction go through there, but, you know. So Simon was brought before a council, the high seat of the House of Work. Arguments about Simon leaving for South Africa. Should Simon be allowed to be a Templar again? And he is, because he has a friend who's still there, who's still alive, named Derek. And that's the end of Chapter 21. It was basically just a lot of court stuff, like, oh, you left, blah, 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 blah. Chapter 22. Still with Simon on this one. Talk about Booth and Simon don't get along. Booth is the highest officer, highest ranking Templar that's left, and Simon and Booth really don't like each other. So they went down these tunnels, all right, to like a different secret base, and Simon had like his bolter, his sword, and some night vision. I guess he found it on a dead soldier, like some regular night vision. Leia is here as well. There's a bunch of bodies all in the tunnel, and they left them there so that the demons would think that there's no one in these tunnels. They travel to another Templar base. New character, Brian the Templar Knight. This is the House of Workspace. Eh. Simon and Leia talking. Simon's mother died in childbirth, so his father didn't really like him that much. He blamed him for killing his mother. Walking through the base, another character, Miles Graydon. His armor is black and gray camo, and he's older as well. Another old person. Never brought up. That black and gray armor never brought up again. He's a friend of his father's. Simon went to get his old armor to see if it was still there. End of chapter 22. Chapter 23. Still with Simon. Weapon and armor vault. The vaults were mostly empty. Further into the vault, his father's portion, and a voice asked what they needed. It was like an AI that controlled the weapons vault. Simon got into his old, advanced Templar armor. It was powered by solar cells and arcane energy. Templars first get their armor when they're 12 years old. That's when they're ready and expected to be able to kill demons, at the age of 12. On the way out of the House of Work, they were ambushed by Demon Darkspawn. Pages and pages and pages of killing demons. Like, sliced just, it's like, oh, shot him with his bolter, sliced him, stuff like that. End of chapter 23. Chapter 24. A rocket was fired by a demon. It turns out that the demons would often use military weapons, British military weapons, when they could. Lots more demon battling. The bolter weapon was very good versus Darkspawn. A Darkspawn fired another rocket at a Templar, and it killed the Templar. Which I find very interesting. It's like, okay, standard military stuff doesn't hurt demons. Templar stuff hurts demons. Standard military stuff hurts Templars. I don't get it. Doesn't seem right to me. But I'm guessing that the author is working within the set rules that the game makers created. Lots and lots of demon killing. Pages and pages of demon killing. Killed all the demons in the ambush. 2 Templars died. They mourned the dead and carried their bodies away. Which I guess makes sense why they would leave regular civilian bodies and carry the Templars away, because, the Templars are in that advanced armor. Leia said she felt useless and wanted to do something, but they just wanted her to survive. Talking about Templar training and how they were made to fight demons, and how the Templars actually never fought demons before. And they wanted to show, so Simon wanted to show something to Leia about how they knew about the demons. And that's the end of chapter 24. Chapter 25, we're back to Warren, inside of the building with the more advanced Kabbalist. They got into a van and went to the Mayfair district. They went to a big giant home of one of the Kabbalist's benefactors, Hedgar Tulane, the communications mogul. He was also a Kabbalist. They had magical horses that somehow protected the place from demon, but they also eat the horses. So when you run out of protection, eventually, if you just keep eating the horses, but they're also protecting you, I don't know. They're in the mansion, there's lots of books, there's a spiral staircase down to the cavern, into a cavern that was below the mansion. Turns out, the Nazis once sought the same power that the Kabbalists have, or want. And then there's lots of armed guards in the caverns, but they're kind of, if you think about it, that'd be useless because demons are immune to bullets. So it turns out that the powerful Kabbalist left London long ago, while weak Kabbalists stayed in the city, mainly to practice tricks for people like spirit boxes. You know, they were basically like roadside attractions, or became roadside attractions. This was back in the 19th century. They wanted to return to the city because the nexus of power, the Hellgate, made the Kabbalist magic stronger. And then they told them, it showed Warren this like magic wall, and Warren just walked right through it. And that's the end of chapter 25. Chapter 26, still with Warren. On the other side of the wall, there was a man, but he was different. His body like stretched out like an insect. His head was larger than a regular human's. Had giant horns on his head. Turns out this was Tulane. He was like a really powerful Kabbalist. And then Warren was able to bring Kelly through the magical illusionary wall. And this, like, surprised everyone who was on the other side, even Tulane, because, like, no one was able to do that before. Bring someone else through. And then, Tulane revealed that Kabbalists wear all these tattoos because it helps concentrate their power. And then he watched the Kabbalists levitate things and shoot fire. And they couldn't do any of this before the Hellgate, because the Hellgate powered them up, essentially. There was a projection showing a demon destroying tanks. This was Shulgoth, the one from earlier. He was actually one of the primary demons, one of the big demons, big boy demons. Tulane asked Warren a bunch of questions about his past, you know, about killing his stepfather and stuff like that, or forcing him to. And then, like, all of Warren's burned skin turned to scales. Yep, end of chapter 26. Chapter 27. Back to Simon. Further into the base, Simon, Leia looking at a display case of a propped up, like, demon. It was lizard-like with green scales, 9 feet long, 9 feet tall. So they called this a Ravager. A Ravager is never brought up in the rest of the book. And it turns out the Templars never fought a demon before. They found the body of this demon who in the 100-Year War. They found this demon body that was like already like stabbed and like killed already. And it doesn't say who did that to the demon. This was back then, during the 100 Years War. And modern guns don't hurt things. And the Templars didn't know about fighting demons. Who killed the demon? Doesn't say. Doesn't mention in this book. Maybe in the second book. Then they talk about magic and demons and lots of talk about that. And then each house had a demon on display. 14 demons in total. However, only this one was real. They walked to the museum portion of the base. A female knight, Anne, and another female knight, Keiko Nagamuchi, was with her. I'm going to tell you, a lot of these characters I'm mentioning that aren't like Simon and Warren and Leia, they're kind of pointless. I mean, like, Tulane's not, since he's powerful. Talking about past, and there's weird dialogue about relationships and how, like, Templars have, forced marriages, and that's the end of chapter 27. Chapter 28. Simon, more talk about the arranged marriages because the Templars have to have children or else they'll all die out. Then Leia calls Templar culture problematic. Back in 2006-7, they were using problematic. SJW talk all the way back then, people. It's nothing new. It's just now it's more brought to light. Yeah, it was boring. They called it a boring way of life, and there was just a lot of personal stuff about Simon, like his past and his parents, and like living in South Africa. And then it mentions how Templars are extremely advanced when it comes to weapons and armor, but they're extremely behind when it comes to medicine. And I didn't understand that. And then Simon gets a. There's a new assignment. Simon, Derek, and Bruce, another Templar, go out to this house. Actually, 20 Templars go out to this house because they're looking for a book. A magical book. And that's the end of chapter 28. Chapter 29, we're back to Warren. Warren was itching like crazy because his skin was turning to scales. And then he removed a scale with a knife and that Tulane gave him. So they sent him to the medical lab, examining Warren. The scales in his DNA, they examined the scales' DNA and his DNA. They were different. Turns out Warren wasn't entirely human, and the scales are also like a type of parasite or something. Tulane thinks it's a gift from the demon that marked him. End of chapter 29. Chapter 30. Back to Simon. See, the house that they went to belonged to a fantasy writer, Robert Thornton. He wasn't home. He was actually in the United States on a book tour. So the Templars stole a bunch of his stuff. Yeah, they literally went into this guy's house and stole a bunch of his stuff. And they found the magical book, and when they got it, the book pulled one of the Templars, Bruce, into the book. And it killed him. Basically, it killed him. He was, like, screaming, so they somehow bound the book in, like, palladium chain. And the book, like, got angry and tried to free itself, and then the demons found them. A gremlin. A gremlin was described as an ugly beast. It was a scout, a gremlin scout, and it had an electric pistol. It aimed it at Simon and shot at Simon, basically an electric explosion. End of chapter 30. Chapter 31, electric explosion, again. Then there's lots about Simon battling the gremlin scout, and then he eventually killed it. So they started to burn the house down. And then there's more demon battling through the house, and they discover that the author's family's still there. So Simon tries to get them out, but the other Templars don't help him because Templars aren't concerned with helping people. It's very much Brotherhood of Steel, like, thinking about this, you know. We're not here to help people, we're just here to do our mission and, you know, get technology, versus here it's get magic stuff. And that's the end of 31. Chapter 32. Simon went to rescue the family. A woman and 2 children were there. Simon got them out of the house, and a man in a van showed up to help them. The van left, and Simon stayed to fight more demons. A lot more demon battling. More and more demon battling. So, Simon had a pistol called a constrictor pistol. It fired like a net. So, they lost 6 Templars this mission. And, well, 5 to demons, and then Bruce to the magical book. And that's the end of chapter 32. Chapter 33, Warren time. Warren chapter. Naomi was examining Warren. Naomi is like another Kabbalist. I guess she's like their medical aid. So it turns out most demons don't have a name. Demons have to earn the right to a name. Merahim was the one who caused the Black Plague. It also says that Merahim went with Christopher Columbus to the New World, and that's where like the smallpox comes from. So I guess they say that it's trying to say that Christopher Columbus was in league with the demons. Naomi has the power to spy on demons, and and she wants to spy on Merihim. Which is not very good. I mean, you're speaking about it right to Warren, who isn't basically marked, and the demon can like see what he sees and stuff. So, end of 33. Chapter 34. Still with Warren. Warren was with Merihim. They both they did the ritual. So Naomi and Merihim were both like talking to him at the same time, trying to convince that, oh no, I'll protect you, not her, or other way, and both back and forth. And then it's talking about how demons always lie and stuff like that. And then Warren passed out, and then later, Warren woke up in like this room. And Merihim was really like stunned at how powerful Warren's connection to the demon to him was, So Merihim wanted Warren to find something. He didn't tell him what it was. End of chapter 34. Chapter 35. Simon chapter. Simon is in trouble for saving people. Yelled at by Terence Booth, the High Command, High Lord, or whatever he is. It's not a Templar's duty to protect people, only to kill demons. Regular people aren't supposed to know about the base. After being scolded, Simon went to the hospital ward to check out the family, talking to children. King Arthur is brought up. Simon and the other Templars got out of their armor. It turns out that you have to be naked under the armor. Can't wear clothes under the armor. After getting out of the shower, a female Templar approached him. She said that her sister was killed on that mission to get the book, and so she was very angry and started to punch Simon in the face, throwing him to the ground, and just punching him over and over. End of chapter 35. Chapter 36, still Simon. Her name was Temperance. And there's lots about fighting the woman in the shower, fought until a sergeant ordered them to stop. Sergeant's name is Brewster. Temperance's sister, who died, was Charity, which is kind of funny because that wasn't brought up in the chapter. You would think that you would say the names of the people who died. You only mentioned Bruce. Leia was gone. She left. She took one of the female Templars' guns and left. And then no one stopped Leia from leaving because it wasn't their duty or responsibility. It was Simon's. So they just let her leave. End of 36. Chapter 37. Warren time. So he's back in the room made of crystal. The room was lit up by glowing spiders in a ball. A voice called him the Devourer. Merihim opened the place to Warren. It's the Hall of Weapons. The thing Warren was supposed to get was the Hammer of Balakor. It was made by Vegalok, the smith of the Dark Forge. It was made for Passapor, the bringer of flashing ruin. The hammer was lost in the human world. The hammer can raise the dead and shoot shadow fire. The hammer was like 2 feet long, was like a 2-foot long Nordic hammer, so it was huge, I don't mean the handle, I mean like the head. So it was a gigantic hammer. Merihim wanted to leave, and the Kabbalist Tulane tried to stop him. So Merihim gave Warren power in order to stop the Kabbalist. And so Warren convinced Merihim that the Kabbalist should help him, and because Merihim wanted Warren to do everything by himself. End of 37. Chapter 38. Ugh, back to Simon. Simon time. Looking over the ruined city, Simon watched as a military vessel helplessly tried to fight demons with their regular standard human weapons. The demons were draining the river somehow. The Templars were headed to the museum, but the Kabbalists were also heading there. So the Templars quietly followed the Kabbalists to see what they were doing. Both groups were after the same hammer. Let's just say that. They didn't know that, but they were. Templars went to the museum, while the Kabbalists went into the factory that was next door. End of 38. Chapter 39. Warren chapter. In the factory here, Warren could see the shadows of the past. Like, he could see all the shadows that were, like, working and how, like, things were. Exploring the factory until other Kabbalists wanted to go into the museum. Merahim stopped Warren from going into the museum because the museum was actually warded to protect it from demons. So they have to get under the factory, under the floor of the factory in order to get into the museum portion. Then there's lots of arguing with Naomi, and then demons enter the room, and so Warren exploded the wall to get through. End of 39, chapter 40. Technically, both Simon and Warren chapter. As the wall exploded, the Templars were ready to fight. Derek ordered them not to yet, because they were Kabbalists, they weren't demons, and they weren't technically enemies. There was regular people hiding in the museum. Templars arguing about helping the people or not helping the people, so the Kabbalists snuck by and went to the basement. There was a big iron door with magical symbols on it. They opened the door with sayings and managed to get through it, and there was the hammer. It was glowing purple. End of 40. Chapter 41. Templars fighting demon. While this was happening, the Kabbalists kind of escaped to a safer spot. Simon saw Warren's scales and kind of thought about it for a second, then went back to fighting demons. They were all trying to get like a door open so they could escape, a different door open. Derek grabbed the demon hammer. But it was really heavy, and it was like too heavy for even the Templar with their advanced armor to fight with. So Derek had to stand back or fight with one hand with his other weapon, with his bolter. And there's just pages and pages of demon fighting. Then Derek was hit by a large demon. But he was not dead, he was still alive. More and more pages of demon fighting. End of 41. On to chapter 42. Still basically the same combined Warren and Simon chapter. More demon fighting, and more demon fighting. And more demon fighting. And so Simon had them bring up the building's schematics so that they could see if there was anything under the building. And there was an abandoned tunnel. They used a grenade to blow a hole in the floor. Down in the tunnel they went. Merahim then ordered Warren to grab the hammer. He grabbed the demon hammer, and the Templar... Derek was holding the demon hammer, and so when Warren grabbed it, it blew the Templar off of it. So only Warren was holding it. So he was using... When he grabbed the hammer, it started to summon Merahim to him through this little disc. End of chapter 42. Chapter 43. Battling demons as Merahim tried to get through this little disc portal. So then Simon cut Warren's hand off, making him drop the hammer. Then he went back to Derek. Derek was badly hurt. They're running through the tunnels as they needed to explode it. Warren was screaming in pain because, obviously, he had just had his hand cut off. Warren wanted to die. fetid Hulk grabbed Warren's old hand, his cut off hand, his severed hand, and ate it. Why? I don't know. So then the demons rushed them, but Merihim managed to get through the portal and actually protect the Warren and the other Kabbalists from the other demons, saying that they're his prize. So Merihim told the other demons to go get the Templars instead. And then Merihim gave him a new hand, a demon hand. So Simon blew up the tunnel, and end of chapter 43, on to chapter 44. Back at the Templar base, again yelled at by Booth. I'm going to get a drink, because I'm messing up my speech a lot. Yeah, basically they got back to the Templar base, and now they're being yelled at again because Simon was now going to leave and help people. Now, it's been several days since the fight at the museum, and now there's lots of arguing. Pages and pages of arguing, and then Simon and Booth eventually fought. An old Templar stopped them from fighting because Booth was actually losing, so Simon left. Wortham, an old paladin, I think I mentioned him earlier, actually went and left with Simon. End of chapter 44. Chapter 45, Warren time. Warren was in a kind of like demon/Kabbalist-run hospital. They were like healing him. Warren was angry he was not dead, and he didn't like his demon hand. So there was a demon called a Nestor, which actually lives inside of people, slowly eating them from the inside out. Merihim thinks that the Kabbalists are actually really powerful now, because of Warren, and wants Warren to be his champion. Warren and Merihim want to destroy the Templars now. Merihim, because he's a demon and just doesn't like the Templars, and Warren is so angry that he lost his hand that he wants to destroy all the Templars, mostly just Simon. End of chapter 45. Chapter 46, Simon chapter. It's now a week later. They're in the tube. They're the tunnel between England and France. You know, that the train tunnel that goes under the water. Yeah, they're clearing that. They're getting that ready to go. Or they're at a station that's connected to it. I don't think they're in the actual portion. So they had a lot of regular people helping them out, trying to get this all ready. They had like a train engineer. However, they were running out of space on the train. They were talking about magnet trains and how like surface technology is so inferior to Templar stuff. So they put Templar technology on the train, which made it go stupid fast. Or it's supposed to go stupid fast. And they were getting it all ready, however the train wasn't really made to go, this stupid fast with this technology, so they had to do several tests, and it was taking a while. And they were really worried about demons showing up because they were making a lot of noise. End of chapter 46. Chapter 47, Warren chapter. Warren could feel where the Templar was. He could feel where Simon was. How? Don't know. Doesn't say. So Merihim was on the surface. He's over there. He's with Warren, and he gave Warren a demon army in order to kill the Templars. Warren then ordered the demons to attack the Templars. But not to kill Simon. He wanted them to bring Simon alive, so he could see his face while he tortured or killed him. He was able to run with super speed with the demons. Simon, Warren, and some demons, some demons. Simon and Wortham here were both Templars, and they had more Templars with them who were helping. I guess there was Templars that disobeyed Booth and went with Simon and Wortham here. They detonated several explosions, and because the train had to go now. Lots and lots of pages of demon killing. Like pages and pages and pages of fighting demons. Chapter 48. More demon killing. Templars also dying. Templars were dying a lot. A lot of Templars were dying. Because a Carnagor was here. The big demon from the start. And then Warren was riding a demon. He was riding a Blood Angel. Templars and demons dying. They were chasing the train. 19 Templars have been killed in this battle so far. The train was gaining speed. It was slowly, it was going, but it wasn't going fast enough. End of chapter 48. Chapter 49. Warren killed a Templar with a ball of energy that, just ripped through his armor like it was nothing. The train was now faster than the demons could go, but there were still enemies on the train, and so Warren was now battling Simon. So Warren was able to, force Simon off the side of the train. And someone was communicating with Simon. All of a sudden, Simon saw a stupidly fast motorcycle, and you won't believe who was riding it. A strange warrior in insect-like armor he was talking about. It was Leia. She had on some armor that was just as advanced, or if not more advanced, than the Templars. She said she was XO. Simon didn't know what that meant or who she was working for. Leia was actually assigned to spy on Simon to learn more about the Templars. Leia said the demons had set up an ambush on a bridge further ahead. End of 49. Chapter 50. Final chapter. Back to Warren, riding a Blood Angel, chasing after Simon. Simon wanted to know who Leia was with, but she told him no Q&A. Simon went to try and stop the bridge from exploding and stop Merihim, because Merihim was actually going to use the train as a big blood sacrifice to make him more powerful or something. So Simon was able to get up there, I guess on the motorcycle. He used the motorcycle to get up to the bridge faster than the train was going, and snuck around, and then he shot at Merihim, not thinking he could actually kill him, and then lots of battling with Merihim, so he launched the motorcycle into him so it would explode. Didn't really do that much to Merihim. Still fighting him, and then then demons started attacking the train from the bridge. Lots of fighting. Fighting Merihim was actually not going well for Simon. He was actually getting beat pretty easily because Merihim with the hammer is a great demon now, or a very powerful demon. So Merihim kind of ignored Simon now, and he was trying to cast a spell. So from the train, people fired rockets at Merihim, and it interrupted him enough that he couldn't start do the ritual. So then other Templars started to shoot at Merihim with their bolter weapons. So they fired several grenades at Merihim, causing him to stagger, and now the train was out of reach of Merihim. End of chapter 50. And I have to sneeze. Alright, sorry about that. So, epilogue. They're at the beach. They're getting survivors on ships at the beach. Simon wasn't leaving. His place was in London to fight. Warren was now even more powerful. He could now raise the dead. So he walked into a cemetery and raised an undead army. But then he raised his stepfather's corpse as a zombie and then killed him. The end. That was the end of Hellgate London, Book 1, Exodus. Things I thought were good. I thought the Templars were pretty cool. I like their weapons, I like their armor. I mean, I think, having super advanced stuff is neat. Things I didn't like. Demons being immune to regular bullets without an explanation. No, I didn't like that. I really did not like this switching between two different characters thing. It really felt like I was reading two different books at the same time until, those last, like, 3-4 chapters. I don't understand what palladium is. I mean, it's like, oh, it's used in armor, it's used in weapons, it's used in chain. Like, it's super strong. I'm like, okay, if it's metal, is it brittle? Is it, like, durable? Like, what? Like, I don't understand palladium. And, that might not be the fault of the writer here, that might be the fault of the video game, maker. So, if the Templar, like, it mentions all these Templars died, and it was like, oh, you're, like, any Templar that, like, the Templars kind of felt weak. Like, I don't know, like, some of them were strong, and they brought up all these different armors, like the Templar in purple armor, the Templar in the gray camo armor. But it didn't mention if they were different or anything, like, if they're more powerful, or, I didn't like Warren. Warren felt like I did not like the character of Warren. He was kind of just complaining. It's like, I don't want to be, like, it was a lot of him complaining, like, I don't want to be demon guy, and then he becomes super powerful at the end, and that was kind of annoying. It didn't really, like, the book kind of went all over about magic. I didn't really like that. It was like holy magic, and then there was talk about arcane magic and demon magic, and yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what makes something strong. Like, are demons could be exploded by a Templar grenade launcher. Does that mean like a human, like a regular 40mm grenade launcher could kill them? I don't know. Like, did the military manage to kill any demons? It doesn't mention that. Did any human standard infantry weapons work? Doesn't mention that. Yeah. That was book 1, Exodus. Alright. See everybody later. Bye. Oh, just joking. Just joking about that. Yeah, so this is my video for the 12th anniversary of my channel. It's gonna go up on a Saturday, which I usually don't upload on Saturdays. I usually stop on Fridays because tomorrow, well, for me, when I'm recording this, Friday, I'm going to put up a Wasteland Weaponistics video, which you already know. So yeah, tell me what you think about this Hellgate London book. Good? Bad? From I didn't go into a huge explanation because I want you, because this is not like an in-depth review. It's kind of like, hey, this is what the book's about, chapter to chapter. I'm not going to write down 100% of everything, or tell you 100% about everything, because you should go read the book, yourself. But yeah. Alright, I think that's all. Remember to like and subscribe this video. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, please. It's been 12 years, and I got barely anything to show about it. And I'll do more of these book reviews. I like doing them. They take a while, but they're fun to do. Alright, bye. See everybody next time.